Welcome back. You're live with Expresso. Thank you so much for tuning in for this beautiful Tuesday morning. Time to speak to our parents. We live in a culture that promotes the chase of perfection and the appearance of it, at least. But is perfectionism healthy, especially when it comes to a parent-child dynamic? Registered counsellor Shenaaz Moos now joins us in studio to share her wisdom, considerable wisdom on the topic in our latest parenting segment. And she assures me she is a recovered perfectionist, okay? Are you sure? You're not in remission, you've recovered?
No. I said that with certainty.
Great to have you back.
It's such a bad thing, though, because before this segment, I didn't think it was such a bad thing, but then I actually looked up on it. So I actually want to know, is it a bad thing?
Are you a perfectionist? I've got to ask. Excuse me interjecting.
After researching it yesterday, I'm like, no, I don't think I was... I think I have a little traits of it, but I don't think I'm full on. Maybe I'm recovering now that I'm a parent, but I don't know. Is it a bad thing?
Most people who say I'm a perfectionist, they use it like a badge or a medal. They're quite proud to say, because perfectionists get things done.
It's elitist, yeah.
They get it done, they get it done right, they get it done fast. Now, can you imagine that principle in parenting? Getting it done right, getting it done fast. Have you had time with kids? There's no right and there's no fast. There's more about presence, slow, put play in. So perfectionism, I think that if you aren't aware of it, and you're in denial, by the way, Jamie, I saw that fight with yourself. So what happens is, most of us, when we hear what it is, we don't want it.
That's the thing.
We don't want that title anymore when we understand the intricacies of what it means. So a lot of women that I do workshops with, when I give them, there's a test that you can take, and I can email it to you. I have one with me. We can take it in the break. Is that they actually end up scoring 12 out of 12 as a perfectionist, the ones who said, no, I'm not. And they use terms like, I just like things a particular way. I like it when people follow my instructions. You know, particular phrases which are very much aligned with perfectionism.
I'm not pedantic. I just like it the way I like it, okay? But now, what's wrong with striving for excellence? I mean, you know, to use you as, again, our wonderful example this morning, Jamie is working on building new skills. She's being very critical, self-critical at the moment, growing her skill set, holding herself up to a light, which is a good thing, surely.
No, striving for excellence is not the same as perfectionism, because perfectionism is about unrealistic standards for yourself and others that you can't even hope to meet, yet you strive for it, but always fall short. So you set yourself up for failure. Excellence is more like doing your best. Okay, I got that, I could do that. Can I do better? And then moving the marker a little bit in manageable ways. And the difference between the two, I think, is how you approach mistakes and failure.
Okay.
So the striving for excellence people are like, learn from the mistake. Okay, fine, maybe next time. Perfectionists like, beat myself up, you idiot, you fool, oh my word, why did you even try? Why did you even do that, you know? So it's like this little boxing match going on in your head where you are beating yourself up.
Now, I want to ask you, how do we then pass this on to our kids? Because if I feel like I'm a perfectionist and I want everything my way, as you said, it's not that way with kids. Once you have kids, it's not anymore about you. It becomes more organic. So how do we then teach excellence versus perfectionism to our kids?
Now, what have I been saying every time I come on the show? Model.
You show, you don't tell.
So for me, as a recovered perfectionist, what I realized was that I had grown perfectionism in my home, in my kids. And the one thing perfectionism breeds is anxious children, because a child who's afraid of failure. So a child who's afraid of failure is a child who's afraid to try. Do you understand? To try new things. So if you realize that you played a huge role in that, you need to figure out, how do I now undo or re-educate my child? And a lot of kids manifest as angry kids because they can never please a parent. So it's not always anxiety that you look at in children. It's an angry child, just frustrated.
We're going to look at how we can break those bonds. We can ourselves break that cycle, because I think the key is within us. Like all good parenting discussions, it always starts with us. But we are talking specifically about perfectionism, when we've pushed it too far, and how we can prevent it from coming into our relationship with our children and affecting them.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
So we're going to continue to feed off that discussion and deal with perfectionism as parents and when we need to draw the line. And we've got a recovered perfectionist sat beside us, Shenaaz Moos, of course, a registered counsellor who I lean on a lot as a parent. I must say, I've really loved our conversation, especially with regards to love language. But this is a slightly different kettle of fish because it can often speak to our baggage as parents, something that we've carried around with us for a very long time. Judgment is a terrible thing when, you know, angled at ourselves and especially when angled at our children. But the acceptance of imperfection, why is that so vital? It's something you touched on, but why is that so important as a parent?
I think that when we're striving for perfection, there's never going to be the meeting of the two.
Yeah.
But with
You'll never be perfect. I'm sorry, we're human.
and more important, to model to kids that being yourself and being human and making mistakes and learning, teaching that model instead is how they will retain their authenticity, which we discussed in a show. How do we? So they're born with authenticity, like your son, you were telling me how he displays love languages so easily at 2.5. I mean, that's insane.
It's innate, they're built with it.
So they come wired like that. It's us that take away those things by how we parent. So as a perfectionist parent, you almost like fast forward the process. You really take them away from who they are quickly.
Why do we have the need to be perfect? What does that stem from?
I think that we are raised in a society that values perfection. So it's almost like we're in a garden, we're all seeds, and we all have this potential, but we get watered with perfection juice. And it grows us, and our parents were watered with it, so they are cultivating it. So there's different levels of perfectionists, but then you get chronic ones like myself, how I was. So part of it is your fault, and part of it's not your fault. You can't change society, you can just change yourself. So working on that.
You can't go back and change the way you were parented, but there are many opportunities for reflection, and I think often just holding up that mirror is where the process begins. But as this recovered perfectionist, what made the difference for you? If there are parents out there right now going, wow, actually, you know, maybe they haven't even identified that this is a trait. What are some of the traits that exhibited in you that led you to that realization, and how were you able to change it?
So for me, it was actually anger that made me find the perfectionism. I identified as an angry mother, like insanely angry, like banshee screaming, you know, almost like the Alien movie where the alien chases the... That was me, and Sigourney Weaver is my child, Fling. So that basically was my house. It wasn't a good house to be in. And I didn't like who I was. No one told, okay, my daughter at 4 said, Mommy, you need a new job, you're not good at this one.
She could identify something was wrong.
That is being a parent. She said I wasn't doing a good job at 4, and she said, you need another job. So I've been doing that reflection since then. She's 17, by the way. And
does she approve now?
Oh no, lots of affirmations and that. So for me, it's like, feel the energy in your home. Do you like being with your kids? Do they enjoy being with you? Is there laughter? This is the one thing that shifted in our home. We have huge fun. We have laughter daily. I behave like an idiot randomly. Because you must be fun and funny, and you must not take yourself seriously.
They must know that it's okay.
Yes.
What final pieces of advice would you have for parents, just in general as it relates to perfectionism?
Perfectionism cancels out self-compassion and self-love and self-acceptance, which we now know are key ingredients to living a fulfilling life. So you can't, if a perfectionist says to me, and they normally say, I'm happy, I don't need to do anything. My kids are happy, they get A's in everything. You know, they excel. All those words are like red flags. But it's about internal happiness, that most perfectionists don't have that because of the compass that they have internally is like, doesn't even have a navigation. It's just all over the place, because it's wanting to do so many things. So my advice is to do less, cut down the to-do list, and make play and connecting with your kids a vital part of the holiday, especially when there's no electricity and they're forced to look at you and talk to you.
Which is going to happen even on Christmas Day. People just get used to it. The bottom line here, and I love that word, we model the behavior, but there's an opportunity for you to show some self-love through the process as well, and never forget to show your children as much love as you can. Thanks, Shenaaz.